Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? Can everybody hear me okay? This is going to be kind of maybe a little scuffed because I'm just out at a coffee shop having a good time. Uh, how's the audio before we get started? Everybody can hear me okay? All right. Seems like people are here. All right. Sounds fine. Thank you very much. How many of you were here for the Bookwalker live stream? I guess it was only a week ago, maybe a week and a half ago. Trying to remember. The time is going so fast right now. Um, but man, am I busy. So I might be speeding through these announcements. We got a lot of announcements to go through actually. So so yeah, I might just like fly through these because I got work to do, man. Man, I got it's Friday. I got programming to do. I just corrected a bug where if we refunded a book on Bookwalker, it would give you like the full price of the book back, even if you had bought it at a discount, and we can't have that, things like that. Anyway, we're working hard on that. Well, I'm working hard on that, but j-novelclub is also working hard on getting you a whole bunch new licenses. How about that for a segue? So, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and get started with our new series announcements for February 2026. There we go. Is everybody ready? Let's just make sure that it's showing correctly. Yes, it is. All right, nice. Next. Announcement number 1. A J-novel heart title called Sister Mafioso by Adachi with illustrations by Kyozik. And the description of this one is, under the cover of darkness, Dina Ferletti, the young, golden-haired queen of the fiendish Ferletti family, was tossed into a nearby canal and left for dead. The next day, a redhead with amnesia washed up on the shore of a rural seaside town. For the past decade, Dina's lived the charming life of a nun in training, but her blessings seemingly run out when Ken Teodoro, a member of the family, breaks into the chapel. He's arrived under orders to bring the Don's little sister home, but Teo's true intentions lie with bringing the Ferlettis to justice. As a result, Dina is forced to give him a hand by posing as herself, and if she's discovered, her death won't be staged this time, so God, please let this lie stand. Anyway, sounds to me like this is not actually a reincarnation or isekai or anything, but sort of has a similar setup because of the quote amnesia unquote. But sounds like a really cool setup with a really cool main character. I love the fluffy elbow pads there. Anyway, so check out Sister Mafioso if you are into this kind of stuff. Sounds to me like this is something for everybody, not just romance fans, so I'd check it out. Alright, next up, a j-novelclub title, The Unsung Epics of the Hero's Journey by Hachi Gatsumori, and the illustrations are by Nat. And the description for this one goes, a hero has been chosen by the Divine Blade. She is due to set out on a journey to defeat the Archfiend, leaving the city abuzz. But from the shadows dawns a prophecy that the hero will be cut down before she ever reaches the Archfiend's stronghold. To avert this tragedy, the temple dispatches Ruiz Firm. Sorry, I have no idea how to pronounce that. To redirect the stream of events leading to the hero's death and to keep the omen secret. Only problem is that this is a job for 2. Enter Arangni, infamously skilled adventurer who's willing to help. For a price. And no one said it'd just be money that Ruiz has to pay. So, this is a pretty standard go defeat the Archfiend setup, but we got 2 female co-protagonists here for you guys to enjoy. And I think this is going to be one that any fans of standard fantasy will find really enjoyable. And especially because we got like the tomboyish main character as a bit of a different vibe than the usual main characters you get in these stories, All right, moving on to, I think, another club title. This one. Miss Medic's Diary at War by Tama Masaki and illustrations by Kuret. It's been a while since we've licensed something that some people would be like, whoa, and I think this is maybe one that might get a little bit of a buzz. Especially once I read the description here. As someone blessed with the rare potential for recovery magic, Tori Noel is drafted as a combat medic at the tender age of 15. Fighting as a teen soldier won't shake her confidence, though, not when she can recall carefree days of playing first-person shooter games in a previous life. But a world full of magic isn't as fun as it once seemed. Now living the nightmare that was once her playground, Tori faces a serious question. Can she build her skills fast enough to buffer against the brutality of war, or is she doomed to become another bloody stain on the battlefield? This is not a happy-go-lucky, feel-good series. This is very much a series about war. But with with kind of a slathering of light novel pasted on top of it. So if you're a fan of Saga of Tanya the Evil, those kinds of books, this is definitely one you really should check out. It's in terms of the specific sort of era of war, it's quite different, but it's very realistic in some ways, and in other ways completely unrealistic. So if you're interested in this kind of stuff, check it out. It's one of the more interesting light novel titles that's been published in the past years. I'll tell you that. All right, moving on. A j-novel night title. So from war to BL. We're just going left and right without real consideration to people's emotional balance here. That's okay. All Eyes on Neko Yashiki-kun. Notice Me, Not My Characters by Kazuki Minamoto. And this is, as you can see, this is the one that are publishing of our j-novel night title. Meet up-and-coming indie manga artist Nekoyashiki Mamoru. He might have garnered a small dedicated fan base devoted to his gay comics and even scored a coveted seller's booth at the biannual Comic Kingdom event, but this paltry fame isn't enough. It's certainly not on the level of Kazama Issei, an actual idol and Mamoru's childhood friend. When a chance encounter throws them back into each other's orbits, things get complicated as the ever-cheerful Issei brings back messy childhood memories and inspires feelings of inferiority in Mamoru. Their paths crash together in this story about professional challenges, personal feelings, and moves. So yeah, if you like, actually, if I remember, what's really nice about this one is it's a BL manga, pretty sexy, pretty cool characters. Got some of the usual tropes, but it also has like this Genshiken vibe. There's a lot of insider information about the doujin space and comic conventions and things like that. So if you're also into that kind of otaku stuff, this is actually a really good manga as well. So for BL fans, check this out on J-Novel Night. It's going to be yet another title that sort of broadens our perspectives on that line. We're definitely trying all kinds of things at night, so check it out. This is also many volumes. It's a nice, good, chunky series. All right. Another one that actually I think people have requested. The Reincarnated Mastermind, Sundering Fate with Magic Swords by Ryu Yuki, and illustrations by Nakamura. So here, let me read the description of this one. Ren thought his reward for being the first to clear the sequel to The Legend of the Seven Heroes would be personal satisfaction. So when he's rewarded with special content, he quickly accepts, only to wake up as a baby in the game's world. At first, he's hoping he's been reborn as the hero, Ren. Ren instead discovers his new life is that of the story's shadowy antagonist, the figure suspected to be the mastermind behind the entire trilogy. Good thing Ren is fully intent on living a peaceful life in the countryside without getting involved with any characters or world-ending plots. But when he crosses paths with the very saint he is meant to kill in canon, Ren realizes fate may be the ultimate final boss. Yeah, so this is, actually this is kind of like a bit of a combination of the villainous trope where, you're reincarnated into the bad guy, but more in a standard, VR MMO, but made reality fantasy reincarnation setup. And this is a long-running series that is really well liked in Japan. So we're glad to be able to bring this in English. So everybody check this out. It is pretty standard, but also high quality. Next up. This one's cool. This one, unfortunately, we have not been able to get the cover ready in time for the announcement. This is one hell of a cover, though, so we're definitely showing the original Japanese one. Anyway, Return of the Corpse King, Reigning in My Cringe Secret Society. Yeah. And that's by Stai, and the illustrations are Tumeki. Imagine being summoned to another world to be the hero, beat the Demon King, and live an adventure, only to be forced to return to modern-day Japan. That's what happened to Hizaki Shio. Those exploits seem like forever ago. He is in high school now, even though it's only been 3 years. But just as Hizaki had settled back into reality, he's suddenly summoned again, and this time to stop the secret society, Helheim. However, Shio has a slightly cringy secret. He founded Helheim himself during an embarrassing phase when he went around calling himself the Corpse King. So who could be using Helheim's name in this place, and how did it become so powerful? It's time to confront the marks he left behind. First stop, the Steel City of Gagiel to rescue a noble heiress. Yeah, so I think you guys will see the bones of various other stories in here, but this is just cool, Chunibyo, cringe awesomeness. So go check it out. I mean, just look at everybody's eyes on the cover. Like, it's just, they're all insane. It's awesome. Anyway, so yeah, we're gonna have to check it out when we get this one out, which is going to be very, very shortly, because I mean, I'm sure you guys are aware, but pretty much all of these are going to be available for preview for the first chapter, first parts at least, right after this announcement. I think at least on the hour, top of the hour after the announcements here is when we usually release everything. So everybody check these out. There's a lot of them though. We still got plenty more to go. How many have we been on so far? We're not like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I don't think we're even halfway. So let's keep going. Here's one. So we started putting out the manga for this one a couple months ago. And yep, we're putting out the light novel too. It's called Fired, But I Maintain All the Software by Yuki Kashirome and illustrations by Ichi. And the description goes, once the sole engineer maintaining the systems at her company, Ai Sato is laid off without warning one day. Apparently, the new CEO doesn't approve of cosplaying at work. Rude. Moping won't pay the bills, so Ai sets out to find a new job, only to bump into an old friend, Kenta Suzuki, who just so happens to need a business partner. Together, they'll run a coding school for people truly in need. Each new recruit that follows seems to be struggling under modern expectations, from a harried woman determined to prove her worth at work, to a jobless hopeful who wants to fulfill his mother's dream, and more. If Ai wants to bring out their best, she'll need to also figure out how to build up their confidence. The manga adaptation is also available at j-novelclub. Yeah, so I guess this is our entry into the AI coding genre. Get it? AI, because her name is Ai. Anyway, no, but those of you who have read the manga, especially, we are getting a lot of comments like, it's like, why do I relate so much to this? I'm a software engineer. This is like, too real. And the light novel, of course, it just goes into even more detail. So if you want something a bit wonkier or coding engineerier, this is totally for you. And of course, it's got that light novel sheen on it. So you can tell from the cover. So check it out. It's something very different than most of the other things we're publishing. So, I think a lot of our audience has matured into this kind of content. Yes, I just called everybody old. Sorry, but if I have to realize how old I am, then so does the rest of you. So, deal with it. Next up, the more classic, The Path of an S-Rank Adventurer from Deadweight to Weapon Master by Sato, and illustrations by Hitakiyu. The adventuring party Sacred is quickly becoming famous for its incredible heroic exploits and its supremely talented leader, Sasha. Almost no one remembers that Sacred ever had a co-leader, Heiss. Once Sasha's childhood friend, he was booted from the party, reduced from his already tenuous position and as workhorse to plain deadweight. Devastation at the betrayal and shame over his weakness drives Heiss to pour his bitterness into learning his ability, an unfathomable power not even he fully understands. Now, mistrustful but determined, Heiss steps up to take on the world and the comrades who abandoned him. So, this is a kicked out of the party, crazy skill that nobody knows what's going on with setup, and you should check it out. It is everything that everybody likes in these types of stories. All right, next up. Ooh, this one's kind of cool. Reborn to Reign, Imposing My Rules with My Mastery of Magic by Byakushi and illustrations by Falmaro. Yeah, you could just, I don't know about you, but I can just tell a Falmaro cover just instantly. I don't know. we've flashed a bunch of ones with their illustrations, and it's kind of obvious. Anyway, let me read the description. He cannot remember anything of his past life, not even his name. He can't even remember the details of the novel he's been reincarnated into. All the newly awakened Vanitas Lindblom does remember is that he's been cast as the villain in this world, and that by the novel's end, he's doomed to die. Determined to avoid that fate, he undertakes learning the ancient skill of grasping magic, which not one of his foes is able to wield. Along the way, the women enslaved by the evil Vanitas, destined to become the hero's right-hand women and overthrow him, are instead allured by this change in his personality and begin to admire their new master. Can the antagonist cheat death and even find love? Yes. So, classic harem reincarnated, gotta avoid your fate situation. And with some really cute girls. So check this one out, especially if you like that kind of setup. Sorry. Next one is, yes, this is the next one. Then next up is a much more adult villainous story, Proud to be the Villainess, by Mary Doe and illustrations by Kuga Huna. The description for this one goes, for years, Wellmy Ernest has made her half-sister Yora's life a living nightmare. She forced Yora to obscure her beauty, treated her like a servant, and even stole her fiancé. Their own father and his second wife joined in on the torment, cruelly confiscating Yora's belongings and forcing her to live in a cold, drab, detached building. Now that Yora has turned 18, Wellmy is ready for the final insult, marrying her off to Aides or Mirage, the handsome yet heartless Mage Lord. Tonight, at last, her brilliant scheme will reach its climax at the banquet held by Aides himself. Yet, as the villainess prepares her final act, she is acutely aware that all that awaits her is her own doom. So this is a pretty serious and well-written villainous tale, is all I'm going to say. It avoids a lot of the... Well, it leans into the genre and then avoids a lot of the silliness that can also occur in these. So if you guys are interested in something a little bit more serious in your villainous, this is it. Nice feat. Anyway, moving on. Okay. Oh, and here's the manga version of something we're publishing light novels of. The Accursed Chef and His Pair of Furry Foodies, the manga by Watarinika, an original work by Yu Tanaka. And the description for this one is, things get cooking right away in this dungeon epic with cheat skills and delicious dishes. Koichi Suzuki, an incorrigible lover of beast folk and their adorable fluffy ears, dies young after heroically saving a child. In a divine exchange, his reward is reincarnated into another world and the ability to cook up magical beasts. Now called Thor, he must use the knowledge of his past life and newfound culinary skills to survive a world that shows mercy to no one, not even children. But just as he manages to find his footing, who should appear before him but two beast folk on the verge of death? Thor will have to cook up a recipe for success if he wants all three of them to survive. So yeah, this is basically me and my two cute beast folk girlfriends, girl pets, I'm not sure, and their cool food that they cook up. So a little bit of dungeon meshy, a little bit of typical light novelness, and this is what you get. But this is the manga, so lots of really cute illustrations as well. And of course, delicious food illustrations if you're into that. Okay, moving on to another one. Starting on hard mode, God Levels Got Problems by Hanmin Kyoshi and illustrations by Ririnra. And this one's description goes, you have been reincarnated. From here on, a free life awaits you. Merlin awakens in a strange new world with all memories of his past life erased. He might have a princely face and god-tier stats now, but he quickly learns his so-called freedom may be limited by his ridiculous powers, especially when a casual wave of his hand can sunder the ground and tapping his fingers sends people flying. The last thing this equation needs is a series of chaotic new companions, even if they are beautiful. How else will Merlin find peace among all this noise? Yep. I mean, don't have much comment on this one. But hey, it's named Merlin. That's cool. I like that. Next up. And we also have the manga version of this one. Starting on hard mode, God Levels Got Problems by Sotono. And the original work is by Hanmin Kyoshi. So we got both the manga and the light novel of this one. So check them out. And that's the last announcements of new titles. But we have something we haven't had in a while, print announcements. And I think there's some exciting ones in here. Some of them, I think, might have already been revealed through listings, but you know, good to announce them officially. We are publishing the print edition of The 100th Times the Charm manga. For those of you who haven't checked it out, we also had the original light novel when these are both released under J-Novel Heart. These are going to be released as single mangas, and the first one's going to be available in June. So right before Anime Expo, in case you guys want to pick up a copy, I'm sure we'll have some at the event as well. So the description, in case you haven't checked this one out. Falsely accused of plotting to assassinate the saint, Lady Alfina finds her engagement to the frigid prince called off and her head upon the guillotine. Time rewinds upon her death, but despite all efforts to stave off her fate, she faces the same end 99 times over. Just when all hope seems lost, she awakens a new power during her 100th loop. She can now hear the thoughts of those around her, and it turns out her accusers were a lot more enamored by her than she thought. Can she use this newfound ability to turn her fortunes around? The 100th times the charm. So yeah, this is actually a really popular. This got really popular in Japan, and it was also quite popular for us as well, both digitally and the original light novel. And we're very proud to be able to put out the physical book of this. For those of you who haven't checked it out, the best part of this is like the main character basically has gone insane after getting executed 99 times in a row. She's not completely insane, but she's got a few screws loose at this point. So it's really a lot of fun being in her head during this time when she thinks basically, you know, when she starts hearing everybody else's thoughts, her first thought is that she really has just gone insane. So it's a lot of fun. All right. Next up, we are also publishing a print edition of Safe and Sound in the Arms of an Elite Knight manga, which is by Yuyuko Haru and original work by Fuyuoki. And this one is born with an unusual birthmark on her back. Chloe Ardines was immediately branded a cursed child by her superstitious family and locked away in their estate for their entire life. Forced to cook and clean, Chloe's world shatters one day when an encounter with her mother at knife point drives her to flee the only home she's ever known. Desperately seeking refuge, she escapes to the only sanctuary she knows, the royal capital. But is the big city everything she hoped it would be? Just as she finds herself on the brink of despair, a mysterious gallant knight rescues her, offering a glimmer of hope and the promise of a new beginning. Yeah, so this is very similar to the previous one. Also became very popular in Japan and popular with us as well. So if you are a fan of romance manga, check both of these out. And very much requested, The Water Magician, coming out in print. We will be releasing the first one of these in August 25th. For those of you who haven't checked this one out yet, the anime came out earlier this year, and hopefully we get even more of it later. Ryo is delighted to be reincarnated into the fantastical world of Phi, where he thinks he'll get to live a quiet life, learning to use his newfound water magic. However, he is immediately pitted against the wild lands as he winds up in the slew of deadly monsters that call the remote subcontinent home. Luckily for Ryo, he's naturally optimistic, clever, and blessed with a hidden eternal youth trait. 20 years pass in the blink of an eye, and each encounter along the way pushes him one step closer to the pinnacle of human magic. Little does he realize that's only the opening chapter of his tale. And a fateful meaning soon thrusts Ryo into the forefront of history, forever changing the course of his life. Yep. And I think I'm going to explain more about Water Magician. Everybody has either checked out the anime or is already a fan of the book, so now you can own them in print. And we're also putting the manga out in print as well. The manga's coming out a little bit earlier about 1 month earlier than the novel as well, so. Alright. And here's something that's interesting. We are actually re-releasing in print the An Archdemon's Dilemma, How to Love Your Life Bride in 3-in-1 omnibus editions. So this is one of the titles we've been releasing in print for a long time. I think it's up to like volume 20 or something at this point. But some of the older volumes are pretty out of print, to be frank. They're not hard to find, and we are not printing reprints of the singles. But you know, we would really like to keep this one out there. So we're actually going to be releasing omnibus editions and with 3 volumes each. starting in October. So I'm not going to go and bother to read the description of this one. It's been out for a long time, but check these out. Yeah, we're trying a lot of things with print now, and one of these is going to be omnibusing some of our older series maybe and releasing them in 2-in-1s or 3-in-1s for print collectors as well. All right. And the last print announcement is actually one of our original English light novels, one of our contest winners from the first year. The Young Lady is the Substitute Harvest Goddess by Gabi Hime, and illustrations by Reine Kuwashima. For those of you who haven't checked this one out yet, you really should. It's awesome. Demeter Serafield is a young lady aristocrat and enthusiastic gamer. One night she is summoned to her inner sleep by a goddess and given an unexpected job, to take over as harvest goddess for a whole other world. She's suddenly whisked away to a world with rules that are strangely like those of the farming games she loves. In this cozy slow life series, Demeter takes over the role of harvest goddess for a world of dryads, talking animals, lush wilderness, and quaint forest villages. With her gamified goddess abilities and noble charisma, and the help of some friends, she'll take a world under attack from environmental danger and make it thrive. Yeah, that is A Young Lady is a Substitute Harvest Goddess, which is one of our contest winners and a favorite of mine in the finalists from last year. It really, how should I put it? It really shows the author's passions. Let's put it that way. She is passionate about the things that she writes about, and I think that's awesome. And that's an J-Novel Club Original Light Novel Contest runner-up, and the Volume 1 is available October 27th. And that's it for print announcements, and we have one general announcement. We have a sale going on for Valentine's Day, which is tomorrow. Who cares? I've got work to do. So that's why we're doing an anti-Valentine's Day sale. Screw romance. We want books about revenge. Yeah. Red works for more than just love, you know. So anyway, scan this QR code, check out all the books that we have on sale. Some of them are up to 60% off. The promotion ends end of the month on the 24th. So it's just for a couple days, just for about 10 days. So yeah, check out these awesome series we have all about revenge. Yeah. And that's it. I think I'm going to take a couple questions. But not too many, because I really need to get back to work. Anyway, so yeah, everybody if you want to put some questions in chat, just so you know, Laura, it's up to 60% off. So I think some of the volume ones are 60% off, but no. How the OLN's been doing in general, I would say that they generally speaking are doing about as well as are the average Japanese light novel we've been publishing. I don't think we have any like breakout hits, but the print numbers for like pre-orders for the prints that we're putting out are really high, and we're really hopeful that those will not involve lots of returns. So yeah, definitely pick them up in print, the ones that we're putting out in print, and then there'll be more after that as well. Let's see here. Thanks. All right, thanks for the compliments. Always appreciate them. In terms of increasing odds for printing titles, I really there's nothing you should do other than just be a fan of the series and tell other people to try it out. The best way anybody can do to make any content have more releases really is just make the fandom bigger, right? And the best way to do that is to tell your friends and family and loved ones and dogs and cats and neighbors and the acquaintances online, random people you pair up with when playing Overwatch. Just whatever. Just tell them all about your favorite light novels and manga constantly, and don't stop. Even if they tell you, "Dude, I don't care. Please shut up and concentrate on the game." Just ignore that. That's my suggestion. To answer the general question about how do I decide which titles get print releases, it's about yeah, sales, popularity, buzz. In some cases, it's about like the audience. So would probably be there are some types of genres that don't sell well in digital and might sell better in print than in digital proportionally, and that we might be more likely to put out in print than even if the digital sales aren't so good. But that's more to desperately try and not lose money on them, rather than like because we think that a huge number of people want them. So anyway, yeah. So it's trying to just figure out the right market fit, right? So yeah, there we go. Any other questions about? I'm not going to answer any questions about upcoming titles or release schedules. I don't have the latest information on me right now, but yeah, that'd be great. Does having an anime influence what gets printed too? Yes, definitely. I would say it hasn't recently, right? But when it comes to, say, for example, The Water Magician, I can tell you right now, it was the anime. The anime is what caused the sales of Water Magician to quadruple. So if the anime hadn't existed, the sales of Water Magician would never have been high enough, I think. Well, they might have been, but it definitely would not have caused us to, go as fast as we have been to trying to get them out in print, right? So anime matters for print choice because anime helps sales. It's not just like there is an anime, therefore we need to put things out of print, right? It's anime is an advertisement. Right, exactly. Yeah, gushing over magical girls anime was really huge effect, and of course the biggest one would be Apothecary Diaries, although we're not putting out the print for that one, unfortunately. But still, anime is advertisement in many ways. It really is. What's my favorite from the last batch of licenses? I gotta go for Reign of the Corpse King. That one is just exudes cool, and in a way it reminds me of Eminence of Shadow and Overlord, and that level of stuff. So it's a little bit hardcore Kakuyomu style, I guess you could call it, for those who know what I'm talking about. But if you enjoy that kind of book, I think you'll love it. So. We obviously we get the sales numbers from light novel series from our parent company Katakawa and places like Bookwalker Japan. So yeah, we basically have the data, same type of data that is shown on those sorts of light novel YouTube channels, except we have more and better data because those channels only really have the public Oricon data, right? And so we do know what's selling in Japan and what's hot and what's not. The thing is that quite a lot of the top sales in Japan are just the latest volume of the latest hit series that tends to fill the top 10s, and all those series are already licensed by one person or the other, whether it's us or Yen Press or 70s. When it comes to brand new titles and those that come out, the initial sales do often matter, at least in terms of whether that book ends up getting continued in Japan and not canceled. But in terms of whether that book will actually get an anime or not, that is a little bit trickier to determine just by sales. It has a lot more to do with the particular editor Tonto, the particular editorial team that's putting it out, because oftentimes places like Katakawa, for example, they will sort of already have a short list of, we want to work on making anime adaptation for these light novels, or making a manga adaptation for these light novels, right? Even before the first volume even comes out, they're already sort of picking and choosing based off genre and what they think will make a good anime, the author, maybe how well they're negotiating, and they start the planning. They start the planning for it, early, and then of course, if it ends up not selling and flopping, then they stop the planning. The planning for an anime is a long, complicated thing. It requires a lot of work. Finding the right producer, finding the right anime studio, coming up with anime character designs, and then the scenario outline drafts. Right? There's lots and lots of steps. That's why it takes a while. You can't just throw out an anime at the same time and put out the book. Well, unless you delay everything by 2 years. But all that process, can be stopped and canceled, and if you want to, and it used to be back in the day that the anime would come out 5 years after the first volume of the novel. And these days, that's too long. Like, we can't wait. The industry is not going to wait 5 years for the anime to come out, so it has to come out 3 years after the first volume comes out. And if, for anyone who's been paying attention, if you want to get an anime to come out 3 years from now, you need to start planning now, because like that's how long the waiting list is for anime studios, right? So that's why you have to start planning for anime even before the first volume comes out, or you're just not going to make it. So so that's sort of when it happens, and at least within Katakawa, because we are in a group company, we get information about which books have animes, tentatively planned all the way through 2028, 2029, right? So we have a schedule. I can't tell you what the schedule is. It's very, very NDA, of course, but at least for internally, we sort of have that kind of information. And publishers even other publishers outside of Katakawa are willing to share that information with us quite early. One, for example, a publisher we have a very good relationship with, Earthstar Entertainment, will tell us, they'll tell us things like, "Hey, you should probably license this title," and we'd be like, "Oh, why?" And they'd be like, "Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Maybe we have something planned." Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, and I'll be like, "Okay. What year?" And they're like, "I don't know, maybe 2030." Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, and I'm like, 2030, huh? Great. Anyway, that's usually the way the conversations go. Anyway, let's see here. Anyway, a question about GL. I'll have to ask the editorial team why we particularly chose GL for Girls Love. Girls Love is synonymous with Yuri, I believe, but maybe there's some subtle reasons why we chose one versus the other based on the content. Not sure. But yeah, generally GL stands for Girls Love, so you can interpret that tag as you wish. I think the best way to figure out what that means is by buying the book and reading it and figuring out whether you think it really deserved the Yuri tag or just the GL tag or both or something. Let's see here. Would it make sense to something? Are you silly for holding out hope for physical releases of Chivalry of a Felled Knight LNs? There are sillier things that you could do. Let's put it that way. Like holding out hope for physical release of My Little Sister Can Read Kanji. That would be silly. All right. Anyway, I think that's about all the questions I see. Thank you, everybody, for coming. I see we have 82 viewers. That's nice. I'm glad that we had so many people here today. I hope that everybody found something that we announced today for them to check out. We had quite a variety of stuff, from the most bog standard isekai fantasy revenge kicked out of the party stories to food manga to dark World War I inspired fantasy magic war sagas. I hope that everybody finds something to check out from our new catalog, and we'll check it out on our website. Don't forget, in case you're interested, we also have this new subscription service that you can subscribe for only $3.50 to read hundreds of light novels for free a month. And you can also subscribe to that as well if you really want to find a huge amount of content for a very, very low price. So I hope you guys will check that out as well. We're making small improvements to the website to make things better and better as well. I think we're launching some of those very soon next week, so check that out as well. It's nothing too big, but I think you guys will nice. Yes, I did say that. Thank you for sounding like you're a paid shill. Anyway. Laura, I don't know. Laura, do you work for us? Are you? Do I know? Should I know who you are? I'm not sure. That's okay. Anyway, thanks a lot, everybody, and I will talk to you soon. Bye. bye.